Hi, everyone, and welcome to Retro Time Machine. And today we're going to talk about the $6 million man. And I've got the $6 man with me, and it's his favourite TV show.
Leon. Yesterday I was a $5.50 man, so it's good. And
Inflation.
I'm getting better. $6 million man. What a great part of my life. I was very young when it came out. Ran from 73 to 78, and it was a huge part of my life. It was poor. I grew up poor. Single mum on the pension. I mean, Steve Austin. He was
$6 million was a lot of money.
It was actually, Duke. How much do you think $6 million was worth in 73?
So how much is it in today's money?
Yeah. So if today, how much do you reckon?
$48 million.
Oh, you looked it up. Yeah,
I looked it up. Of course I looked it up.
$44 million in 2024, which is $1 billion Australian dollars.
It doesn't sound as catchy though, does it? The $44 million man.
But it shows you it was a lot of money. It was a lot of money. I mean,
it was a lot of money. But with inflation, I don't think you could get even the Bionic Eye for $44 million these days.
All right. So just to clarify, Steve Austin is testing this thing.
Colonel Steve Austin.
The Colonel. Why is the Colonel? Well, so so he's more important than Colonel Sanders?
No way.
No way. Not that Colonel. He's a Anyway, he's testing some sort of thing, a lifting, landing module, something, and it crashes, right? Crashes.
Good research,
a man barely alive. That's what I remember. I remember it's a man barely alive. And I tell you.
That's me now.
I was about to say, that's the irony, isn't it? It's that's what we are now.
A man barely alive, but with no bionics coming.
No bionics at all. So I remember watching the first episode, and he's like, "Oh God, God," and he said, "We can rebuild him. We can rebuild him, a man barely alive." And I was crying. I remember it vividly. I was crying. I was so crying because I was happy because they rebuilt him. They saved him. And so.
And that crash they have at the beginning, the crash.
That's a real crash. It's a real crash.
It looks so, just looks so devastating. And then they've got him on the operating table all that. Well, when you're a kid, that's just so dramatic. You're just going,
we can rebuild him. Yes, please save him. And it's a real crash.
Rebuild him and make an action figure, please.
So Bionics, they give him a bionic left eye, two legs, he's lucky. Because I suppose it'd be pretty stupid if you had one leg bionic. How would you just be running around in circles?
Can you imagine? He'd be able to hop really well. He'd be going over buildings, hopping over buildings.
So 2 legs and a right arm, all with bionics. And to be honest, I have no idea. I think they're nuclear powered or some shit. I know when it's cold, it affects him. And anyway, who cares really? But anyway, so he's bionic. So
well, they started off with 3 telly movies. So there was 3 pilots that they put out there. But I just want to mention that one of the pilots, they didn't have Oscar Goldman.
Yeah.
They had Darren McGavin.
McGavin.
Yeah. Do you remember him?
I know him. Why do I know him?
Because he was in that awesome show, that one where he was a reporter and Night Stalker.
Oh, yeah, Night Stalker. Yeah.
Which we'll have to do an episode about Night Stalker.
Yeah, Darren McGavin. Well, to be honest, I loved Oscar. I thought Oscar was like he was the man. He's the man that looks after you. When
My
you're in jail.
My sister had a crush on Oscar when she was like 6.
Well, I think I did too. Because if you end up in jail, who are you going to ring? Ring Oscar, come and bail me out, Oscar. And then when he had any issues, he used to go to Rudy, and Rudy was the tech guy, and he just I'll just fix him up, just plug him in. I just stick
his thumb's not working properly. Can you just get the screwdriver, get the Phillips head, and we'll fix it. But they had I remember in the pilots had a theme song. Do you remember the theme song?
No.
It was, he's a man, $6 million man. Do you remember that?
That's why I don't remember it.
And then I got...
Now I remember why I don't remember it.
And then I got really pissed off when they changed it to dun 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 dun.
I love that when that came on.
Yeah,
so
good,
I remember, I vividly remember what?
Oh, I remember you'd be in the toilet. Like you'd be in the toilet, you'd be sitting down in the toilet, and then you'd hear da 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 da, and you'd flush your toilet real quickly, and you wouldn't even wipe your bum. You'd just run out with your pants down, and you know, $6 million man, yeah.
Well, I remember. So we had this black and white TV. It was just a shock.
Everyone did.
No, you had a colour. I know you did.
No, not in 1974.
Yeah, anyway, I remember. And it had this pull-up lid thing, and I pulled up the lid, and the TV was stuffed. It wasn't working, and I was so upset because the $6 million man was already, you know, it was whatever at 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock, whatever it was. It was just like it was already starting. So I ran. So everyone around us was pretty rich. We weren't. We lived in this like one bedroom in the back of someone's house. I ran all the way down the street. It was like a really long street, all the way down to this friend of my mother's. And I knocked on the door. I said, "Oh, please, the TV's broken. Can you let me watch $6 Million Man?" And the woman looked at me and she said, "No, go home."
Wow,
you know.
Wow, I mean, what a biatch.
No, that's life, Duke. You get that's
I
what
know
happens.
It's life.
I learned a big lesson that day, and the next day when I burnt down our house, I learned a really big lesson, and I was very lucky not to spend the rest of my life in prison. But that's another story. Lee Majors. I loved Lee Majors. Of course, he went on to do Fall Guy. And Fall Guy was really successful too, and he was really good in Fall Guy, and all the best to him because, like, I thought Fall Guy and $6 Million Man, absolutely, he nailed it. He was fantastic. The new Fall Guy is just out with Ryan Gosling, and I saw a review, 1.5 stars. So don't go and see it.
You can't redo those things.
You can't redo it.
He was also, I liked him because he was married to Farrah Fawcett.
No, I think I was married. I was married to Farrah Fawcett. I'm sure I was.
You were stalking Farrah Fawcett. He was married to Farrah Fawcett. But then
she was so hot.
He has to go somewhere to shoot the Fall Guy or whatever it is, and he leaves her with his best mate. And when he comes back, she leaves him for his best mate. What was his name? He was an actor too, famous actor.
Ryan O'Neal, that's right. But you'd think with all those bionics that she'd just think, you know, she'd say, "Oh, you know, Ryan, you're fun, but like if I had to move a V8 motor or something, I'd just call Lee. Lee, can you move? Can you just move that?"
Or if I have to find my keys, his bionic eye can just search the room in like.
That's right. So the story, the reason I mentioned Lee Majors was Lee Majors was at a supermarket. I heard this years ago. He told someone, I don't know, it was in an interview, and he's in the supermarket and he's at the checkout, and at the checkout behind or in front of him, there's this guy, and the guy looks around and he goes to his son. Right, the guy looks around and then he goes to his son. He says, "Hey, look over there. That's the $6 Million Man." And his son looks at Lee Majors and looks at his dad and goes, "What? Did he win the lottery?" How quickly they forget. Well, you know, anyway.
He was from another generation. Look, I don't really remember episodes. I watched them all. It went for 5 seasons, which is a long time. A long time for a series.
Well, considering like, you know, because we both write a lot, and you think, you know, it's a limited sort of genre, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Don't you think? Like, what could he possibly do? Like, you know, with, I mean, he I don't know. You know what I mean? It's just like, you know, how many storylines could you possibly come up with?
Yeah, he runs fast, so it's like, okay, so Steve, you've got to get to the Russian headquarters in 2 minutes. Take the car. The car?
The car? Why? No,
I got bionic legs. But I remember one big change. I remember the first, when it premiered, I remember that. And I remember watching it. I think it was a telly movie. And then I went to school, and school was a whole different place the next day. So instead, everyone used to kick the shit out of each other in school, but instead of kicking the shit out of each other, now we went when we kicked each other.
Yeah.
And when we punched each other. But do you remember? I don't remember any specific episodes.
Well, I do. I have a favorite. My favorite episode is the secret. What is it? The secret of Bigfoot. So the Bigfoot, which there was a doll of Bigfoot as well. So the Bigfoot. So my understanding from my memory and from Googling it, obviously, because I can't remember every detail, and even then I can't really put my head around it. So apparently these aliens live in a mountain, and Oscar and Steve have gone with these guys to set up this like earthquake detecting system. Anyway, they come across this footprint. Okay, and I've got a transcript, actually. I did pull this off the thing. Transcript. Oscar Goldman, looking at a giant footprint. What is it? A mountain lion? Steve Austin. No, it's too big. What do you think? A huge grizzly? Tom? I don't know who Tom is, but I think he's Native American, I would think. No.
Well, that's racist.
I know.
A lot of white people are called Tom, buddy.
Okay, sorry. No, not a cat, not a grizzly. Oscar. Well, what is it? Tom, there's only one thing in the mountain that leaves a track like this. The creature of legend that roams the timberline. My people named him Sasquatch. You call him Bigfoot. All those little kids screaming Bigfoot. And so the thing is that there's this big monster, or big, with a hairy thing, and it is actually a machine. So Steve Austin rips its arm off, and it goes, and grabs its arm and runs off, and he goes, oh, wow, that's not an animal. Anyway, it turns out that he's been created by these aliens who live in the mountain, and they use the Bigfoot to scare off people so they don't get caught, and then the aliens, and then there's this, there's a big explosion because there's an earthquake and everyone's saved. So I don't know. Wow. I don't know how it all works, but like aliens in the mountain, that sounds like an FBI file. I mean,
yeah, that's right.
Just like,
but
and you know what?
I didn't remember him. I remember Bigfoot, but I didn't remember him being a robot, and I don't remember the aliens.
He's a robot. And the best thing, which I didn't figure out until I was way older, the best thing is the person that plays Bigfoot is Andre the Giant.
Oh, wow!
Who is even Hulk. Bigger? He's the biggest legend you could possibly.
He was the Hulk, wasn't he?
No, that was Lou Ferrigno. Lou Ferrigno was the Hulk.
Right.
No, Andre the Giant, the wrestler. The man in the moment. He was just brilliant. So it was a brilliant episode, and but just like so out there, like who would even think of aliens in a mountain? Like that.
I remember. I also remember being kids and discussing this all these bionic things, because bionic I'd never heard the word before, and I remember, and we're all sitting around and we're just saying, I can hardly wait, man. In 10 years, everyone's going to have bionics. We're going to all have bionic arms, bionic legs, bionic eyes. And I was so disappointed that it didn't happen, and it's still not happening.
So what would you have? A bionic what?
Oh, mate, I'd have bionic everything. I'd say, look, just do
it all.
Just shell me out. Just scoop everything out and just put in bionics.
No, you know what? I think no. So you know what? I don't want any bionics, but can you make me a bionic girlfriend? That's what I would say.
Well, okay. That brings us on to the next thing. There was a spin-off.
Yeah.
A big spin-off called The Bionic Woman.
Yeah. Well, Lindsay Wagner and Jamie Summers was the Bionic Woman. I can't remember how. Oh, she was a school teacher.
Was she?
Yeah, I think she was.
No.
Yeah, I think she's a school teacher, and I don't know, something happens. I don't know. I can't remember what accident she had, but they billed her as, and then And I think there's then Steve Austin has a child.
But she's got a bionic ear instead. So she's got one arm bionic, two legs bionic, and a bionic ear instead of a bionic eye.
Great. No secrets.
So, yeah, exactly.
No secrets in the relationship.
Because there'd be two criminals.
Yeah, I know.
Or two spies saying, okay, now what we do is blah, blah. And they're 2 miles away and she's listening in.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna rob the bank, Jimmy. Let's rob the bank.
And then we're gonna kidnap that blonde down there. She keeps looking at us. I think she likes us.
Anyway, but the best.
So that all started from a novel called Cyborg.
Yeah, Cyborg. Yeah.
And there was lots of novels while the series was going. There was all these novels with $6 Million Man novels. You'd have them probably.
Yeah. I mean, I'd never read them, and I don't. I mean, look, the best bit.
Give me one. I want to read one.
The best bit, and basically, I could never afford this, even now. Oh, no, maybe now I could, but why would you? But the toys, I love the toys. Probably my favourite was just there was this little V8 with a handle, and you could just lift him. Yeah, there was the Steve Austin doll, and then you put the V8 engine in the hand, and then you press the button and it lifts it.
Oh, that's right.
Lifts the motor. It's like a V8 engine. I mean, how cool is that? It's just like
that's right. Yeah,
V8 engine. But
there was no sound effect.
No, it wasn't battery operated. No,
I know they should have had a sound effect.
I don't think I'm not sure if anything was, but there was a rocket set, and I remember seeing the rocket set, and there was a little window where you put him in the rocket, and then there's a little window in his head. You could see his head. Then there was a lab repair set. Station, so he'd sit on there, and then I suppose it would be Rudy. Rudy would sit there and just recharge or redo or whatever it was, and just fix him up and say, oh yeah, it's all right. But the dolls, so I did see a doll on Facebook Marketplace for $100. So I'm sure when we had our shop that they were a lot more than that.
Yeah, they were. I bought one and gave it to Jed in its box.
Oh, in the box.
But the box was tatty, but it was still,
But that would have been a lot more. So I don't know if it's gone down but the whole thing was, remember, like when you bought the doll, had to have the tracksuit, had to have the shoes, and had to have the roll up. So when you go, pull the sleeve of his right arm, there were the little bionic things that were in the arm, and it was covered by this latex skin.
That's right, yeah.
Do you remember the skin? And the skin was never there because it would either perish or kids would just lose them or stuff like that. So any time you'd ever see one, first thing, I just pull up the arm and have a look and then see.
And he got his skin?
And he got any skin on there.
So Jamie Summers becomes critically injured during a skydiving accident. The parachute didn't open. They should have. I think I never saw a Bionic Woman doll. But
the Jamie Summers doll. Yeah.
If they ever did one, they should have done it with a parachute that didn't open. So she's saved by Oscar Goldman and Dr. Rudy Wells.
Yeah, Rudy, they're there, the boys. But
with bionic surgical implants.
Yeah.
So all these girls are having implants now, but you need bionic surgical ones.
That's right. But isn't it beautiful that Steve Austin is an astronaut, and then he's test flying this thing, and it's like it's all technical and banging it like that. But no, Jamie Summers, she couldn't do something like that. No, she has to jump out of an airplane with a dodgy parachute, and that's how she gets to get all the bionics. It's not like she was diffusing an atomic bomb or something like that. It's like, oh no, make it sort of. So it's funny, isn't it? It's funny how they that sort of difference between the man and the woman. Anyway,
so she's fitted with a amplified bionic right ear, which allows her to hear at low volumes and at various frequencies and over uncommonly long distances, She's also got the bionic right arm. Both her legs are bionic. She can run exceeding 60 miles per hour. And this is a part I like. She is then assigned to secret missions as a occasional agent of the Office of Scientific Intelligence while teaching middle school students in her regular life.
A regular life, yeah.
So you can imagine that. Where's Miss?
School holidays. She's gone to Russia. School
Where's
holidays.
Miss today? How come we got you?
Yeah. So it's OSI.
She's gone. She's at the Kremlin.
They work for. She's at the Kremlin. but I can never. It's funny though because like legs. So what's the point?
So that ran for 3 years too.
Yeah. It was popular.
And in 2001, they made a failed remake of the series. Oh no, a failed remake of the series was produced in 2007.
Yeah.
So there were bubblegum cards too. I remember I had the whole set of the $6 Million Man bubblegum cards, and when we had the shop, we had the whole set of the Bionic Woman ones, and some junkie stole it, remember? Some junkie stole it, and you ended up giving me something in return, saying, oh, sorry, that was my fault. I let the junkie into the back room. I'm like, why did you let the junkie in the back room, you idiot?
I never let him into the back room. They just, God, that was hard. Yeah, that was junkie. There was junkies everywhere. Well, you know, one of the junkies put a brick through the front window and stole my Planet of the Ape playing card box set. Like, well, it was like a bulk of the playing cards, and then about 2 weeks later, this copper turns up with all the shit and just gives it to me and says, "Oh, here it is. Yeah, he's gone to jail. That's it." So it was quite bizarre, and I had to fix the window. So I remember that when we were at the shop, that was like the pinnacle of, for me anyway, that sort of collectible stuff. Like, wow, you know, that was, I was actually quite interested in it, where all the other stuff like the Cher dolls and the Kiss dolls and even the Mega dolls, you know, like Superman and Batman, stuff like that. I was sort of like, you know, I think, yeah, I get it, but $6 Million Man always had a special place in my
So you didn't
memory.
have a special place for me. I was more into, you know, those Mego dolls, the superhero dolls and stuff. But I loved it as a kid. Absolutely loved it as a kid.
Well, you know the what is it? Planet of the Apes, the Mego dolls. And that guy in America was making he must have got the original
spare
dolls.
parts. Yeah.
No, he's making the original dolls, and then he'd make the dolls that they wouldn't make. So he used to make the pilots after their lobotomy. Do you remember that? Did you ever see those?
Yes.
They were like absolutely worth a fortune, because this guy would make them, and then you'd look at them on one side and it would be the pilot, like just exactly like in the film or the series, and you turn it around and there's a big lobotomy scar. Oh God, that was insane.
Back to $6 Million Man. Yeah. We'll do a Planet of the Apes episode, but back to $6 Million Man. I remember $6 Million Man ice cream. Well, they had a $6 Million Man ice block, and what they did was they had ice cream coasters. Yeah. So, you know, they were sort of like advertising ice cream coasters.
Yeah.
And I bought like 2 of them from some, I don't know, it's cheap, like $1 each, and I put one on eBay.
Have you still got them?
I've got one somewhere. I put it on eBay.
Wouldn't it melted?
I put it on eBay. No, it's not ice cream. It's an actual ice cream coaster. It's like a cardboard little thing that advertises the ice cream. They used to have them in shops. They'd stick them up on the wall.
I don't remember that.
Anyway,
because when was I ever going to go to an ice cream shop? I was so poor. Didn't even have a TV that worked. Didn't even have a TV that worked. How would I go to ice cream? Ice cream with rich people.
And now you're a rich tight ass. Anyway.
I had an ice block.
Anyway, I put one of those on eBay.
Square little thing, yeah.
I put one of those on eBay. Boom. Next day, woke up $300.
Oh, seriously?
$300. All these people from England and America bidding for it because they never had them in Australia. And that was
they
20 years ago.
They
only had it in Australia. So there was $6 Million Man was everywhere. It was absolutely huge. in Australia.
Yeah.
It must be huge in America too.
So would you buy a $6 million man? Or say you went outside and like your neighbor, that old guy, he got into his car and he dropped like two $100 bills in the gutter, and he's driving off and he's deaf anyway, so there's no point calling out to him or anything, right? Really, because that's it. So you had $200, right? What would you buy a $6 million man doll, or would you buy another doll? What would you buy? You had to get rid of the money.
I'd probably buy records.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'd buy Beatles records probably.
Have you got a record player?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
I wouldn't buy a $6 million. Look, I would if I saw one cheap and only if it had the skin on it, and if it was mint in package, I'd buy one. I'd spend about $150 on something like that. But there's a lot of things that I would want before that.
Yeah,
like a Mego Thor.
Really?
Mego Thor, original Mego Thor, or original Batmobile, like in really good, pristine condition in the box.
Yeah, well,
that costs more than $200, but
yeah, I know, but still, no, I don't know. Look, if I walk
what about you?
Well, if I walk past a kid and and he was holding one and like no one was watching, I'd just grab it, but I wouldn't pay for it.
Would you run?
You know what I mean?
Oh, you can't run.
About 60,
exceeding 60 miles per hour.
60 miles per hour.
Well, Jed's got one. Ask Jed; he'll probably give it to you. He'll probably say, "Yeah, take it."
Jed's tighter than me. Anyway, all right.
No, it's done. It's finished. It's done. It's in the time machine. We went back to the time machine. We got it out, played with it for 20 minutes, and now we put it back in the box. See you, everyone.
Bye.